Would you buy an electric car right now? Maybe you already have. I want to hear from you. 0207 862 2222. That's the number, so give us a ring. Now, tomorrow night at 8 p.m, 5 is airing a new documentary called Electric Cars, How Safe Are They?, which will show footage from real-life experiences with electric cars, as well as new and exclusive research from leading industry experts. Last year, more than a fifth of all new car sales worldwide were electric. Over the last few years, the UK has experienced a surge in demand for e-vehicles. That's been fuelled by the government's plan to ban the sale of new petrol and diesel cars from 2030, just 5 years away. But have you considered buying an electric car? Have you changed your mind as well? Kevin, where are you? Which seat are you in at the moment?
My next new car will be an electric car. It may not be for 5 years. I buy them and run them into the ground. Previous car was 16 years. This one 9.5. Someone built Qashqai. Next one will. I get picked up in many electric cars when I'm going in TV programmes really early morning, no public transport, and they're fantastic. You go around London in black cabs, the electric ones are fantastic. Now, of course, it costs more to buy. I'll have range anxiety. I'll also have worries about charging points.
More to insure.
But they will expand quickly. Cheaper to run, though, because filling them full of electricity is cheaper than petrol.
As long as you do it from home, as long as you've got a nice driveway.
And you've got a new battery, I've got to pay for a new battery.
Less maintenance, because there's fewer moving parts in the engine. You haven't got an explosion, the internal combustion. And there's a good second-hand market emerging now. They are the future.
OK, Dawn, do you drive?
I don't drive, no, I haven't driven a car, because where I live in London, it's always pointless in driving now, so I haven't driven for 23 years now. But would I buy an electric car just on where we live at the moment? No, I wouldn't, because there aren't enough charging places. And where we live in a block of flats, there's no places to charge it whatsoever. And I would have that anxiety about it running out of charge all the time. And to be honest with you, I couldn't afford one. They're really expensive.
Yeah. Do you think we've been lied to about electric cars? Do you think we've been misled in the way that we were misled about diesel cars being clean and healthy?
That was weird, the diesel thing, wasn't it? 1 minute they were fine and the next, no, suddenly you shouldn't drive them.
Do you think we're carrying that around with us a little bit?
Yeah, I think there is. I think there is a bit of that going on as well.
You can get a Citroen Ami quadricycle for 7,695.
That's not a car, that's a bike.
You're a cyclist.
That's a food blender.
I'm bringing you in.
No,
that's a washing machine.
You can give up your penny farthing and you can come in.
They're already going. They're already fueled up. Don't go anywhere. We're taking your calls on this after the break. Would you buy? We're taking your calls now on electric cars. Would you buy one? Have you bought one already? Do you regret it? Get your calls in 0207 862 2222. I've got a couple of charts for you. Guys, have a look at this. This is the RAC. Now, this is the sales of UK cars, and we're going from 2010, where it was virtually zip. These are plug-in electric cars. And then you've got hybrids just below. The green line is pure electric, battery electric vehicles, and then plug-in hybrid electric vehicles underneath it. Really steadily rising. Then 2020, it takes off until 2023, and it seems from this chart at least, whether those, as if those sales are kind of shelving, plateauing a little bit at the top. Do you reckon that people are losing the taste for them a bit?
Yeah, why do we think that is?
Well, there could be a number of different reasons if that's happening. I think off-street charging has got more expensive. So if you're not charging at home, it's kind of equivalent to petrol and diesel, mile for mile. Road tax is a thing now, where it didn't used to be, or used to be minimal. So the costs of running them have gone up, and yet you've still got that average 10 grand extra for buying one in the first place.
They are so expensive. I mean, I know you're going to buy me that bike, bless you, but I mean, they're really expensive.
Well, actually, you know, you're the most environmental one here.
I know.
Forget it. Kev and I, we both drive. You're the one that's actually got the green credentials that match your dress. Let's take a couple of calls anyway.
You smoothie.
Simon's, let's take Sarah. She's in Norfolk. There's loads of room to cover, loads of space and loads of distance to cover in Norfolk, Sarah. Do you do it in an electric car?
I do. I'm actually on my 5th at the moment.
Wow.
Oh, your 5th electric car? Is that because they keep breaking?
No, not at all. The opposite, actually, because I love them so much. I'm very, very lucky. I know I'm privileged. My first car, I was trading in a previous car, and there was a manager's deal on the day that they offered me a ridiculous amount of money on a monthly lease. Then within 2 years, I was invited to upgrade to a better model with lower mileage. I got the government incentives. You didn't pay road tax. And of course, the fuel cost dropped. So it was really worth my while.
So you're a great person to ask about the changes over time, because a couple of things that you mentioned there have gone. The government incentive, that stopped in 2022, I think.
Indeed.
So that was it, 1,500 quid, a little help. And then we know that the cost of charging has gone up, whether it's at home or out and about. Has it put you off at all? Have you noticed the difference?
No, not at all. I'll be honest, I had three, I originally had, am I allowed to say brand names and car models?
Probably best not, if I'm honest.
Okay, well, I had certain model, three of those I did through the leasing system. And then because I have a mobility issue and I'm getting smaller and the car was quite big, I downsized, went on to a second-hand car. The one I actually got first of all was too small for my husband to drive, so I've gone to a slightly bigger one that works for both of us. I'm really happy. I don't get range anxiety. We've travelled all over the country. We find that when we come to the southeast, it's fantastic. You can literally charge up on a lamppost by the side of the road. But there are facilities everywhere. You just have to plan.
Yeah.
Sarah, where do you charge it normally? Can you plug it in at home? Have you got a drive or?
Yes, I have a driveway.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. And we never had a charging point fitted at home. We've always charged on a 3-pin plug.
Yeah. And how long does it take to charge it? Sorry, I'm just fascinated that you're.
Yeah,
it's working because I'm thinking of buying one
swap
myself
numbers,
in a few
we'll
years.
swap numbers. You can carry on this on later. But it's practical for you, Sarah. Can you
is for
see
me.
if you don't have the drive, if you don't have that means of
Absolutely.
charging?
I do, and I think there's an infrastructure issue. I mean, as I said, when we come down to London, you know, they're on every street corner, and we know lots of people who don't have electric cars, but there are lots of, you know, spaces they could literally charge up outside their own homes. The opposite is true when you travel elsewhere in the country. Like everything, we always have to wait to catch up with London.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it's working for you, Sarah. Maybe you and Kev should have a longer chat later on. And you're talking through the finer points. But let's take another call now. Thanks for your call. Simon's in Hertfordshire. Do they make sense to you, Simon, where you live?
No, not at all. I'm in the first floor maisonette. So if I had an electric charging point, I'd be garrotting my neighbours with the cables as they walk past.
I've seen it, though. Yeah. People do it.
Have you?
Right,
yeah. Okay. Well, I've got a 10-year-old diesel, still going strong. It's cost effective. I look at the fact if I bought a car that was electric 10 years ago, the battery would be knackered now, and I'd have to get rid of it, and I'd have lost tens of thousands.
And
my own car devalues at maybe £500 a year.
Is this the great unspoken truth about cars, is that although we see that as being sorted for the rest of its life, the battery life does diminish and then its usefulness diminishes as well?
Yeah, you can see that with phones, with anything that's got a lithium battery in it. They have a finite amount of charges.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Simon, your diesel, were you sold that on the basis of green diesel that does no harm at all to the environment? Is that why you went for that?
Well, when I bought it, this was 10 years ago, I didn't pay any road tax. And I still don't.
Right.
So it's been really cost effective from that point of view because everyone was promoting diesels as this sort of wonder fuel. I can't see anything wrong with it because if you start to look at the environmental cost of mining lithium, cobalt, the cars are heavier with the batteries. They go through tyres faster. You get the debris coming off the tyres, which you can't avoid. So, yeah, to say that electric cars are green, I think they're far from it. And then you look at the infrastructure. I mean, we're coating every single decent bit of farmland with solar panels, where they could go on roofs of properties. Yeah. We've got all these government buildings that could take them, but no, we're using farmland for that. We're getting rid of all the decent power stations that we had, all the nuclear are going. We've now got government policy that's getting biofuel mass, which is chopping down forests in Canada, shipping them halfway around the planet to then burn them in the UK. And for what? Because you look at the CO2 where 0.04% of the atmosphere is CO2, of which 11% of that is man-made, of which probably 0.5% of that is coming from the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, what we do over here on this CO2 lot is just ridiculous. And you look at the NASA photographs are now showing that there's more greenery on the planet because the CO2 has increased. But what we're doing is we're now spraying the chemicals in the atmosphere to block out the sun. Well, I mean, the whole thing.
You make a convincing and quite complex argument here. I'm going to throw to you, Kev, because, I mean, in 5 years' time, we won't have the option, if the government carries on, to buy a diesel or a petrol car or even a hybrid.
New ones. You'll still be able to use your existing one. But I think Simon's analysis of global change would be contradicted by climate scientists, the experts. But he makes some points that they're not entirely green. Yeah. And if you've got a car now, you've got diesel or a petrol. There's a lot of energy. CO2 being produced making that car, so it wouldn't make sense for everyone to get rid of theirs immediately and just buy new cars.
I just think once again this kind of change ends up rebounding on those that can least afford it. Somebody like that that's very happy with their diesel might not have the structure, might have to pay more for their fuel.
You can drive his diesel till his wheels fall off.
We do have. I'd be when you get one, let us know how you get on with it. Anyway,
if you run a car on hot air, it'd be well over.